G'day everyone, welcome back to the Investor Chef YouTube channel. It's Jacob here. Are you passionate about climate change and how your decisions affect others in the world?
We're greenhouse gases. You ain't going nowhere.
If so, this video is for you. Now, the ethical ETF world is a very big one and it's hard to dive into because there's so many different options out there with different objectives, missions and goals. So it's important to find the best ETF for you. Remember guys, nothing here is financial advice. Be sure to do your own research and it's for entertainment purposes only. So some misconceptions people normally have about ethical investing is it's not as profitable as normal investing because you're focusing on the company's values rather than their profit margins, but it's not really necessarily the case. So let's find out if that's true or not. Now, what defines an investment as ethical or not? Well, generally ethical investors like to choose things that do not support anything in gambling, smoking, drugs, firearms, tobacco, those sort of things, and avoids companies that have a negative impact on climate change and the environment. So one of our first ethical ETFs we choose is FAIR by Beta Shares. FAIR is one of the ethical sustainability leaders in Australia, which aims to track the performance of an index that includes Australian companies that have passed screens to exclude companies with direct or significant exposure to fossil fuels or engaged in activities that deem inconsistent and responsible investment considerations. So the management fees of FAIR are on the higher side, being at 0.49%. Compare that to other ETFs such as IZ, which is the top 200 companies in Australia, at 0.9%, and compare that to VTS, being your total US market, at 0.03%. It's a lot higher in management fees, so just something to be mindful of guys here. And that seems to be the general trend with ethical ETFs, is they tend to be on the higher side of management fees, so that's just something to consider when you start investing in ethical ETFs. The dividends for FAIR are paid twice a year at 3.3% and 26% franked. Exit allocations for FAIR are mainly healthcare, real estate and financials. So the biggest deal about FAIR is what are the returns. So in the past year it's returned 21.29%, and since inception in 2017 it's returned 11.11%, so not too bad. Our next ethical ETF is ETHI. ETHI is a large sustainability leaders global, so it's like FAIR but it's global instead of Australia, so it's all American companies and around the world. Holdings for ETHI is Nvidia, Apple, Home Depot, Visa, Adobe and MasterCard, and the sector allocations are mainly IT, healthcare and financials. So ETHI has the biggest returns so far that are still an ethical fund, being that past 1 year it's been 34%, and since inception it's been 22.91%. And the dividends are quite good as well, paid twice a year at 5.4%, but with no franking credits. But the management fees on ETHI are quite high at 0.59%. The ERTH ETF by Beta Shares is Beta Shares Climate Change Innovators ETF. ERTH provides exposure to a broad range of solutions including clean energy, electric vehicle, energy efficient technologies, sustainable food, water efficiency and pollution control. Companies with direct involvement with fossil fuels industry, coal, oil, natural gas and certain other negative activities. I like this ETF because it's going in the direction the world is going, with eliminating climate control and going more towards EV electric cars. Again, the management fees are pretty high in this, being 0.65%. Top 10 holdings are Tesla, Infineon Technologies, Eaton Corp, Ecolab, Nino, and DocuSign, and there's a whole bunch of other ones there too. To market, it only just released on 9th of March this year and has returned 15.53% this year alone, so it's looking quite promising. The fourth ethical ETF we're going to dive into today is the VANECK MSCI Australian Sustainable Equity ETF. This gives investors access to diversified portfolios with sustainable Australian companies selected on the basis of in-depth analysis by world-leading research agency. GRNV aims to provide investment returns before fees and other costs, which track the performance of the index. Management costs of this are 0.35%, which is on the lower side compared to the Beta Shares. So in the past 3 years, the fund has returned 23.85%, and in the past 5 years, it's returned 8.96%. So not too bad. The top holdings include CSL, Australian New Zealand Banking Group, Telstra, Afterpay and Goodman Group. Sector allocation for these ones is materials, financials and real estate. Although the returns are pretty average for this fund, the dividends are actually quite good. At twice a year, you're getting 4.3% yield, and franking credits are 80%. So if you're looking for good dividends on an ethical fund, I definitely recommend this one. Vanguard VETH, Vanguard Ethically Conscious Australian Shares ETF. This seeks to track the returns of the FTS Australian 300 Choice Index before taking into account fees, expenses and tax. Top 10 holdings for this one include Commonwealth Bank, CSL, NAB, Westpac, Australian New Zealand Bank, Wesfarmers Macquarie, Telstra, Transperth Group and Goodman Group. So this one are the lowest out of the 5, being 0.16%, which is good if you guys want those low management fees. Well, there, most of the sector allocations are all banks, second being healthcare and third being industrials we have there. 3 of them being beta shares and the other ones being VANECK and Vanguard. Vanguard had the lowest management fees and ETHI beta shares had the highest returns at 22.91% since inception. I hope you guys got something out of that video. Let me know if you hold any of these ETFs yourself. Subscribe for more content like this and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.